Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Saguaro video series. Today I'm here at Tucson Audubon's Mason Center where we have two arrays of desert purple martin nest boxes. And today we're going to hear a little bit from my coworker Olia Weekly about her work with these boxes. So let's get right into it.
My name is Olia Weekly. I'm the Applied Conservation Program Manager for Tucson Audubon. The desert martins are a subspecies of purple martins that nest in columnar cacti, so the saguaros and cardones. They are secondary cavity nesters, which means they can't excavate their own cavities. Instead, they rely on abandoned woodpecker holes. Non-native plant encroachment has caused cactus killing wildfires. That, coupled with urbanization and development, has caused saguaro depletion. There's also been very poor saguaro seedling recruitment, so there's fewer opportunities for cavity nesting birds and high competition. In this project, what we're doing is we're looking for a tool to bridge that gap while we're planting those little seedlings and waiting for them to grow, because it can take 100 to 150 years for them to actually reach the size to even be considered by the purple martins. What we're seeing on the outside is just the hole of the saguaro cavity, but on the inside it's this deep chamber that provides a nice nesting opportunity for cavity nesters. This just doesn't have the back to it. But this is what happens when a woodpecker comes in and excavates a cavity. This doesn't hurt the saguaro, and instead it just scars over this chamber and then protects itself as well. The challenge was that even though the eastern counterparts of purple martins are almost exclusively reliant on human-made nest boxes, the desert martins are not known to use nest boxes. Typical eastern nest boxes like gourds and metal boxes and other designs that could potentially work in the east in the more mild climate, but don't work in our 110, 115 summer temperatures during the monsoon season, which is when they actually actively are breeding. Tucson Audubon and project partners have been studying purple martin natural nests since 2020, and we've collected a lot of data about their biologic data, their phenology. In 2022, we launched a multinational contest to solicit designs and plans for a nest box that could potentially mimic the temperature buffering abilities of a saguaro cavity. What we did was we provided them with some very basic physical characteristics of a saguaro cavity. So we provided them dimensions of the internal volume as well as the opening dimensions, so ventilation holes and drainage holes and things like that. And everything else, like insulation, was left up to the public to be creative and think outside the box, no pun intended, to figure out what could potentially achieve that 6 to 10 degree temperature buffering that we're seeing in saguaro cavities when compared to the ambient temperature. We received 22 amazing designs, and 19 of them were in the adult category and 3 in the youth category. We evaluated those designs for durability, for feasibility, affordability, and longevity. We selected a subset of those designs to do field testing. We set out all of the prototypes, as well as traditional nest boxes and nest boxes that would be common in the east that are not insulated, just to have a comparison. So we set temperature gauges in all of those nest boxes, and we also set them into saguaro cavities, so we have that comparison to see which nest box comes the closest to mimicking a saguaro cavity. None of the boxes came 100% exactly the same as saguaro cavities, but 3 of them came the closest and did an amazing job at buffering temperatures. The 3 designs that came on top They all use different materials, but what they share in common is that they're all coated in white elastomeric roof paint, which seals the materials for longevity and also reflects that UV radiation for additional temperature buffering abilities. An additional challenge that we had to figure out was to ensure that we could install these nest boxes as a freestanding structure 16 feet up in the air. The nest boxes, the three of them especially together, are quite heavy, so we wanted to make sure that it is something that could withstand our high winds and our monsoon conditions. Each leg is actually pounded into the ground with rebar. Every single structure that we put out has been standing just fine and withstood some of crazy monsoon winds and rain and the sun. So everything is working just fine. We installed a collar of spikes around the main pole to ensure that no climbing predators could get into the nest boxes. And then we installed a speaker at several of these installations that play Purple Martin's song at first light, and that serves as a lure to make sure that if there are Purple Martins nearby, that they would be attracted to this area and potentially consider these nest boxes for nesting. So we created 25 sets of these 3 designs, and we installed them across Southeast Arizona in or near existing breeding colonies of Purple Martins, so that we have the highest chance of getting our nest boxes noticed by the Purple Martins and potentially used. Our desert Purple Martins are not known to use nest boxes, so unlike their eastern counterparts, they have not been documented to use nest boxes. So even one documented instance of them nesting in a nest box will be huge for us. We are right now in August of 2024. We haven't had Purple Martins nesting in our nest boxes just yet, but we are very encouraged to report that we have several other secondary cavity nesters that are nesting in our nest boxes and successfully raising and fledging their chicks. So for example, we've got brown-crested flycatchers, we've got American kestrels, we've got western screech owls and Gila woodpeckers that use the nest boxes as roosting spots. And we were also very pleasantly surprised by cactus wrens nesting in our nest boxes. This is honestly one of my favorite projects. We're doing something that's never been attempted before, and in the process we're getting to know these really unique and charismatic birds, the Purple Martins. Our work really has the potential of influencing the nest box conservation of the desert species, and I'm really excited to see where this goes.